Hello, teacher leaders. Welcome to Module 5. This is an exciting module. I really enjoy this one. Get to dig into some things that I really am passionate about, like instructional rounds and personalized professional development, and also even more on teacher leadership. So there's some really great things in this module. So what we're looking at here with these module objectives is looking at personalized PD for staff, and also looking at developing skills to encourage collaboration and teamwork among teachers, administrators, and support staff. This is a huge one. I mean, this could stand alone as its own course right here, module objective number 2. So let's go ahead and look at some of the activities that are going to be going on for this module here. We are finishing out the textbook here pretty soon, looking at pages 183 to 242. Have a couple of readings, The Tug of War Between Change and Resistance, and one of the things that we're going to look at the end here for one of our assignments is this resistance to change assignment. So we're going to check that out. Also, wanted to kind of spotlight this one, teacher leadership case studies. And when it says here links vary by choice, I want to show you what that means. So if you look at the actual assignment down here for the Module 5 reflection, it says to visit this link, which is the one from above, and select one of the case studies, reflections on similarities and differences. So when you look at this website here, so if you click on teacher leadership case studies, you're going to get to a page that looks like this. Now, if you scroll down just a little bit, this is actually the Ohio Teacher Leader Toolkit. So I've actually taken you to the implement spot on the Ohio Teacher Leader Toolkit. And you're going to see here there's a couple of case studies to choose from here. Again, one of the ones that I really enjoy, Aurora City Schools. If you click on Aurora, you can see here that they've got a little bit about some of the key lessons. There's an introduction here. They talk about a little bit of their student body, their cultural approach, some quotes here that they pulled out, and just some different things here about the training that went on. Actually, this crew of teachers going through an actual teacher leader endorsement, just like you. So very exciting to see what came out of this school district here. And so you can read quite a bit about it. Now, I'm not saying you have to read the Aurora City School District, but I have been here on site and I've seen some of the things that have gone on in Aurora, and I think they're doing some terrific work. Now, across the board, when you look at these other case studies here, definitely Batavia and Berea, Mechanicsburg and Wayne doing great things too. I just actually happen to know some people that are working in this school district and some of the things that they do. So anyway, some fantastic things to look at here. So please just pick one of those as you go through, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. Feel free to read all of them if you'd like. So if you look through here and you look at this section that says watch, we have Making PD Collaborative. It's a short little video there on how to make professional development a little bit more collaborative. There's a video here, a really great one, in instructional rounds. And this is actually a video that I shared with my staff before we started doing instructional rounds at our campus. And I'll talk about that here in just a bit. And then there's another one here on instructional coaching, again, building on what we talked about a little bit the last time with instructional coaching, but focusing specifically on tech integration and kind of how like a specific area like tech integration could be sort of put into this model of instructional coaching. All right, so as far as the discussion question here, it says view the following video, this link, and this is this instructional rounds video up here. How do instructional rounds serve as professional development for teachers? Be sure to use resources to strengthen your claim. So I want to tell you just a brief little story. In our district, we have talked a lot about in our building leadership team at the high school, and our high school is 8 through 12. So we got a lot of kids, a lot of teachers. Okay, so that's about almost 2,000 students and about 100 teachers. We've talked about how can we improve our instructional practices and overall achievement in the district, because it's an area where we have struggled a little bit as of late. And one of the things that came up in our BLT is that people just really don't know what others are doing in their classrooms. So when we see certain test scores that traditionally have not been very good in certain subject areas, or ones that have been traditionally very good, what are they doing in those classrooms? Like, obviously we have some great teachers, we have tons of great people working with the kids, but what is it that maybe they're doing instructionally or in other ways, in assessment, or maybe building rapport with students? We wanted to know what it was that was going on there. And so our BLT kind of hashed this plan of starting these informal kind of learning walks or instructional rounds, where essentially we would go through in small groups as members of the BLT, 2 or 3 people, and just informally go through classrooms and just see what's going on. And I will tell you that at first it was a little bit challenging because the rest of the teaching staff really didn't understand exactly what it was that we were going to be doing? Was it evaluative? Was it non-evaluative? And so we really needed to be clear at the outset that this was not to be an evaluative process. We were merely just observing the great things that were going on in classrooms. And once we got over that hurdle, we sent some videos out, we sent some PDF articles, some links out. I think that really helped people understand that what we were doing was going to be great for the building and the district as a whole. And so what happened was we started as BLT. We went around to classrooms and we just started just seeing what was going on. And what I loved about the experience were the hallway conversations. And I know in some of the literature it talks about don't have hallway conversations, just keep doing rounds, and then talk about it later. But I found that organically, as we went into a classroom for 5 or 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes tops, we came out in the hallway and we would just talk. Oh my goodness, did you see this? Or hey, the students are really on track here, or whatever. And that was a really great opportunity to see. Now, what was really cool is we said after we were done with these first couple rounds of instructional rounds that we needed to kind of grow the program, and so we actually included and invited the department chairs, which we have 10 department chairs at the high school, in addition to some other people that serve in the department chair kind of capacity in the areas of like media specialist and guidance and things like that. And we asked them to come and join us for some instructional rounds. And so we had over a couple days, we had about 20 teachers who were going in small groups all through the building and learning and seeing what was going on. And we had this kind of moment where we said, man, this has been a really great way for us to see the great things that are going on in classrooms. Now, that's kind of where we are right now. Now we're starting to see, okay, what are the things that maybe we need to kind of support staff with? So maybe were teachers having trouble with technology in the classroom? Maybe there were some issues there, or maybe there was some room arrangements, furniture. Just it was the desks didn't, there's too many kids. There was just all kinds of different factors. And so now we're working on really working with the administrators to develop a plan on how to best support the teachers and the student learning that's going on. So some really great things. And I think these instructional rounds require almost no prep other than just getting people together and kind of having a little bit of a plan on where they're going to go and what they're going to do, and also if they're looking for anything in specifics. But I would advise you, if this is something you're going to do in your school district, please make sure that you're very clear at the outset that this is not served to be an evaluative thing. It's supposed to be a way to personally, professionally develop the people, and wait for it, the people that are observing others teach. I think a lot of times people forget that about instructional rounds is that you want to go see things that you haven't seen before. We all know that teaching is a career that can be very much in isolation, and it's very hard to get out of your classroom to do things. So we had to be pretty creative with duty schedules and coverages and things like that, but it can be done. Just think outside the box. So I know that was a lot there on instructional rounds, but it's something we're going through currently at our campus, and it has been a tremendous success, an overwhelming success. And I'm actually currently teaching another course in the admin program that one of their assignments was actually to go and do 5 instructional rounds. And I will tell you the feedback that I got from students that were doing this, they just loved it. They loved it. So I think this is going to be something to really dig into, and I hope it's something that you can learn a little bit more about and maybe implement in your own school districts. Okay, so enough about that. Module 5 reflection, we already talked about a bit, looking at one of the case studies and looking at the similarities and differences in your work environment compared to what you see in the case study. So I think that's pretty straightforward there. And then this resistance to change assignment, I think is going to be something that you're really going to find interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and open that one up just really briefly here and make sure that we kind of know what's going on. So as you know, anytime that you are going through something new, a new initiative or whatever it is, there's always going to be people or groups that resist that change. Now, change is uncomfortable, and there's a ton of research out there on change theory and all kinds of other things. And the business world has a ton on this too when they're looking at changing things and making revisions to a company or whatever it is. But what you're going to do here is think about something that's going on in your world. All right. So maybe it's a new initiative. Maybe it's some professional development that's going on. Maybe it's a technology push that's going on. And want to talk about how you're going to really kind of handle and sort of manage this change. And this is a tough thing because you're a peer. You're not an administrator, but you do need to support each other, to other teacher leaders and administrators, and in this process. So what you're going to do here is describe maybe some resistance. So maybe describe an example where you've seen staff members resisting an educational change. I just shared with you a few minutes ago when we first started the rollout of these instructional rounds, there was surely a resistance coming from the teaching staff. It wasn't that they didn't want these things to be done, it's just they didn't understand completely the purpose, the why. And that's in hindsight, we definitely needed to do a better job at the beginning of leading with the why, and making sure that everybody knew what was going on. So describe that a little bit. The application, I have you kind of reviewing or rereading a section in your textbook and looking at some ways the resistance you selected could have been mitigated if you could turn back the clock. So think about something that maybe was done where people felt like something was being done to them, right? Not done with them or for them. Is there something that could have been done different? All right. Looking at the three perspectives: other teachers, teacher, leaders, and administrators. Okay. And then make sure to include some things from the text, because that's a really good section in the book that I really enjoyed reading. And then the last piece here is, as a teacher leader, how are you going to help manage the change process? How are you going to attempt to honor the mission and the vision of your school district while also working alongside other teachers? You're going to hear me say it a lot in this course. That's one of the most challenging things about being a teacher leader is you are often in the gray zone. You are working probably a little bit more often with administrators. They might be leaning on you a little bit more for certain things, but you are not an administrator. You are peers with your other teachers. And that's a hard place to be sometimes. And I've been there. I have been a teacher leader for almost a decade now, and it can be a really difficult place to be for sure. So please use some personal examples. Please use some information from the text. And I think this is going to be a really nice assignment for you to really kind of unpack maybe one of the moments that you had where maybe there was some resistance to change, and also think about some solutions for that. And I will tell you, in the business world, one of the things that business people do all the time is they actually plan for the resistance. They plan for failure. They plan for what they're going to do if something doesn't work. And I think in education, we need to kind of attack it in the same way when we're incorporating something new. Okay, so that's Module 5 in a nutshell there. I hope you have a great week. As always, if there's anything that I can do for you, I'd be happy to help out. If there's any advice you'd like on instructional rounds or a personalized professional development, or this resistance to change assignment, I'd be happy to help at any time. Just feel free to reach out. All right, have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you soon.